for a higher GC news. Mima Obibia Akwaba. Latest hot and enamede bro. Now, something in our banner, so we now subscribe. But what say over subscribe. Now, like video, give us a thumbs up. Nafi share now for Frosoda when you be here. Now, who and somewhere Ecoso, Ewo Ghana Memohanum. Afi tentemara yibura ye and somewhere abeto yepno so you could see AS report AS Ansemi Ababu to Jay, Mumayeti, AS Ansemi, Mueti.
NDC. They say it's my party. And that Ato and Co has given me warning I should stop doing NDC primaries. And that some said I've been summoned to the National Executive Committee for disciplinary action. I beg, you should produce my NDC card so that people will see that I belong to NDC. Let's look at NDC. But let me first tackle those who say it's too early. It's too early. We don't want this. I can tell you that those people who are harboring ambition have set up their teams already. Yes, they will tell you. And indeed, they have to, because you don't start the game late in the evening. You'll be finished. You start your data work much earlier to inform you where the race was, even the day Mama was sworn in, where it is now. Those who know data know the value of data. But indeed, this work is not meant for them. Our stakeholders are many, including Ghanaians, who are our priority. Besides Ghanaians, there are global organizations who want to know who Ghana may elect after Mahama. Today, they are asking questions. Who will likely be sworn in as president in 2029? You think I have to wait for you to tell them what I think it will happen? So your call and your noise will not stop anything that we are doing, because we're not here for you. We are here for bigger client. You happen to be consumers of that information. So we're not going to heed to your calls. You shout loudest, we will not mind you. And it is fair for the public to know where things stand and where things might go. Public opinion. It's not a crime. You can pick opinion on anything today. It's not a crime. Nobody can send it to court for public opinion. You can disagree with it. You can just shut your ears or close your eyes. And that's within your right. That's within your right. Now, these companies want to know who will lead Ghana in 2029. You know why? Some of the sovereign investors, big-time investors who move money, some move their funds to jurisdictions based on policies of the government. Some policies favor certain investors, and some policies don't favor certain investors. They are looking into their portfolio of investment, where to move their investment. Should they move X% to Brazil, X% to Africa, or let's say South America, North America, Europe, Asia? They have a portfolio of investment. Those who have not done fast financing before, I'm giving you a bit of lesson here. The big fund managers move their money globally based on where they believe their returns will come from. And they spread their portfolios, their eggs. They don't put all their eggs in one basket. So some eggs will be in Africa. There will be some investment in Africa. When it comes to Africa, Africa is big. Where should the money go? Should you go to Nigeria? Should you go to South Africa, Botswana, Kenya, Ghana, Ivory Coast, or where? Where the money goes depends on expected return, whether they are investing for short, medium, or long term. Some may want to stay there for maybe 10, 15 years. And if the policy of the government that you expect to be in power for the next 8 years doesn't favor you, they will move their investment to a jurisdiction where they believe the future government would enact policies that will enhance their return on investment. This is big business. This is not Eza or Kudruyeshi. This is investment, and the polling help these entities. So some of the clients we have includes Barclays Capital in the UK. They want to know what is going to happen. In the last election, we met a group of investors from New York, from Europe, from Asia, and from South Africa. We had 3 hours meetings going through polling data, asking us questions about who could win the election. And if they win the election, who do you think will be the finance minister? They will have names. They will ask you. So the work we do as analysts goes beyond polling. As a pollster, we go deeper. We engage deeper in the data and advise investors of where we think the direction is going. We are making impact in that way. You think I'll go and tell investors that, oh, it's going to be NPP, NDC, when the fact doesn't support that conclusion? We are a public company. Remember that. So whatever we tell investors, either sovereign investors or strategic investors, is based on the facts, the data we have. We will not depart from data. Even if my father was contesting as a flag bearer, I will not follow the data because I will not follow him because he's my father. No. I'll always go with my head, not my heart. So the investors have interest in knowing who will be Ghana's president in 2029. So if you don't want to see it, please don't come here. Close your eyes. Don't follow our polls. You can tell the media houses not to publish them. But it will be out there. Those who want to see will see. We are getting the request right now. That is why in our polls, you can see that we are even looking ahead in 2020 election. Who would you vote for? Because we want to advise our client that based on what we are seeing, we think NPP might elect this person, NDC might elect that person, and when they elect these 2 persons and they come head to head, this is where we think the race could go. As of today, we are doing that. For NDC, we have 4 leading candidates that we are pairing against NPP leading candidates. And eventually, when NPP elects their candidate, we would drop one of them and then use the remaining frontrunners in NDC to pair until they have their own candidate. And we switch to do NPP, NDC, and the rest. So that time will come. So NDC people, don't say that it's not time. If you don't understand why it is time, I think you should just keep your mouth quiet a bit and let us do our work. You are just a consumer of our product. You're not the only consumers. NPP, same. We have a bigger audience or bigger stakeholders we are looking at. NDC has a list, a long list, but eventually that list will be cut to 4. Why 4? We set a criteria that if you are not getting at least 5% of the popular vote, your name will be put among others. The names are too many. We want to have a narrow field and move on to see what people do. So what does the current polling numbers say? In the past, started with so many names. All the names you can think of in NDC, from Iwadako, Joshua Alabi, Amakofibuwa, Okuvandapoi, Eriko Poku, Zenato Ajiman Rollins, Nana Opoku Ajiman, Ablakwa, Asante Bediatuo, Haruna Ibisu, and Ato Forson. These are the names, and even at times there was Guritano in it. So we have the potential names that could, come in there and say, I want to contest. So we've kind of covered most of the names over time. But we've realized that over time, the race is beginning to consolidate. And we have some few names we're going to be focusing on. And those names are what we'll be taking going forward. So let's look at the NDC list and the permutations. In the current round, the names that were put out there were Eriko Poku, Joshua Alabi, Ablakwa, Julius Debra, Jinano Poku, Asante Bediatuo, Ato Forson, and Haruna Ibisu. We asked them, who do you think should lead the NDC? Those who mentioned names, Haruna is still leading, 26%. Ato Forson, 23%. Asante Bediatuo, 22%. Jenana, 11%. 7% Julius, 6% Ablakwa, 3% Alabi, and 2% Eriko. These are the preferences of Ghanaians, not delegates. Preferences of Ghanaians. Just like the NDC one. When you have elected your own candidate, you bring that person to the nation for a decision to be made. So the views of the citizens are equally important. Equally important. Now, if you look at this, what you see is that 25% of NPP voters prefer Aremeyaw Anas. 21% prefer Ato Forson. 22% prefer Asante Bediatuo. 14% prefer Gyamfi. 8% Debra, and 5% Ablakwa. And if you look at the NDC people, 29% of NDC people prefer Aremeyaw Anas. 23 prefer Ato Forson. 23 Asante Bediatuo. So Asante Bediatuo is tied in NDC with Ato Forson. Nana 9%, Julius 7%, Ablakwa 7%. You can see that there are about 4 Akan candidates. Together they make up what? A big number of the percentage among NDC. If you take Julius 7%, Nana 9%, Nkitia 23%, Ato 23%. So 62% of NDC voters go to Akan candidate. 62. So the accounts are split at the moment because of the way the race look like. When it comes to floating voters, it is split between Aremeyaw Anas 23, Ato 23, Mosquito 23, Gyamfi 13%, Debra 7%, Ablakwa 7%. So this is the nature of the NDC race. Now, if you compare this current data to the previous one, which is in October this year, Aremeyaw Anas has declined by 3% from 29 to 26%. Ato Forson has moved from 18% to 23%, 5% increase. Asante Bediatuo has declined from 24 to 22, 2%. Gyamfi, who was 0 then, but she wasn't in, now 11%, up 11%. Debra was 10%, now 7%, down 3%. Ablakwa 8%, now down 6%. Alabi was 2, now 3. So you could see that the movement between October and December went to largely Ato Forson and Gyamfi. Ato Forson, because of the budget, we all know that, you can't deny it, the budget, the economy, the sentiment of the people, he gets the credit and he's getting that momentum. Now, realistically, will this race be the race we're going to see in NDC? Let me do a bit more of analytics than just the numbers. Look, NDC has 4 caucuses: the Northern Caucus, the Akan Caucus, the Ewe Caucus, and then the Ghana Caucus. At the moment, Mahama is from the Northern Caucus. And when you are in a group of that nature, you tend to appease everybody so that the people will stay united. If you are seen to be disproportionate to one group, then the other group may begin to complain. NDC is not NPP. I repeat, NPP is not the same as NDC. NPP can elect a candidate anytime, any day, anywhere. They won't be hue and cry. We saw them depart from that Akan tradition and went for Moldaban tradition in the last election, trying to broaden the base. But it is not a must that NPP must always elect non-Akan, because the base is Akan. So if they do so, it's because the base is majority. If the base decide that we are okay that it goes with Moldaban, that is their choice they have made. And that is delegates deciding that we want to go this way or that way. When you come to NDC, They are what we call frefrekobo. Small group here, small group there, small group there, small. So you must keep unity to keep the group stronger. So on that basis, it will be very difficult for the Northern Caucus to argue that they should be allowed to go again. That, I think, it is a given or open secret. So Haruna Idrisu somehow has been disadvantaged with Mahama's presidency. Then the other options will be what? The Akans, the Evers, and the Gandangis. So the candidates that we have, which of them is stronger among the Akans, among the Evers group, among the Gandangis? Then you see that the Akans appear to be very strong and dominant, and they get most of the support. But the Akans in the end must choose one of them, one of their own, or they will split their vote. So whoever is able to court the other groups to form an alliance with them, a coalition with them, will eventually emerge to lead NDC. If Asante Bediatuo is able to form an alliance with the northern sector or Haruna's faction and is able to draw support from the Gandangbe and the Ewes, he will by no means be the NDC flag bearer. If somehow Ginana decides to stay and contest, and maybe I don't see Ato Forson going against Ginana, absolutely no way. If Ginana contests, Ato will not go. Then the accounts will look at whether Ginana is the person to support and who will the other blocks support. If it is Mosquito, can he put alliances together? If it is Ato Forson, can he put alliances together to form a broader coalition to enable him to compete strongly? Let me tell you what is going to happen. If we take Haruna Idrisu out of the race because we think North will not be something that can be sold to the delegate, and we say that Ginana Opoku, by her age and physical condition in terms of health, may be difficult for her to really run a national campaign in 2028 when she will be around 76 years old. So on that basis, let me say I'm putting her on the side. Then you have Asante Bediatuo, Ato Forson, Julius Debra, Ablakwa, Alabi, and Ergobogu. Who would the voters prefer? When we did that, Ato Forson jumps to second place with 37% of the vote. Asante Bediatuo 33%. Debra goes 12%. Ablakwa 11%. Alabi 4%. 3% Ergobogu. So if somehow we are able to confirm Haruna and Ginana will not go, then the pairing will change for us. They will probably use Ato Forson, Asante Bediatuo, Debra, and Ablakwa. But until then, we use the first race to determine the top four. So when you do that, then you see Ato Forson suddenly leading. Interesting thing is that if you add the vote of the young people, if you add Ato Forson 37, Ablakwa 11, that gives you 48%. Nearly 50% of the voters are voting for two candidates, Ato and Ablakwa. Nearly 50%. And the remaining 52 is going to 4 other older people. Does it make sense? Did I say anything? It tells you that people are yearning for younger people. If assuming, in fact, I don't know how old Ergobogu is, maybe around 58, Julius around 58 as well. So even out the vote of these young people, you can see that they outnumber Mosquito and Alabi, who are probably around the same age. So the age dynamics is playing here from the eyes of the public. Now, if we say that, okay, let's look at a race where Julius Debra, maybe if Ato Forson is doing well and the system you want to support Ato Forson may he may not contest against Ato Forson. And same thing applies to, let's say, Ablakwa, and that cabinet members may probably collect around somebody that they may support. And if that members of cabinet want to collect around one person, I think that person may be Ato Forson. So that's the basis that it's okay. Let's do the race with Ato Forson, Asante Bediatuo, Alabi, and Erekopoku, because we've seen that he is very ambitious. He still wants to try his luck, and I believe we should keep him to see how the account goes. So here you can see that there are 3 accounts and 1 guard. Erekopoku is an account. Asante Bediatuo from account region account, and Ato Forson from central account. So if this were the race, how would people vote? The general voters. Ato Forson 48%, Asante Bediatuo 41%, Alabi 6%, and Erekopoku 5%. So these are the numbers we have in this place. What we'll be doing in the future is try different permutation to keep Haruna in the race, and then see if we can change, just so that we can have better understanding of what is going on. Look, some of the things people may think may not be necessary, but for us, it gives us an insight. We're able to see the behavior of people, not the party leaders or not the candidates, but the behavior of their followers. When you take out Haruna, where do Haruna people go? You will tell Haruna that, oh, naturally it means that if my people go to Asante Bediatuo, that is where my alliance should go. That is an insight. It's not just a number. If Haruna's numbers go to Erekopoku, it means that's where the alliances must go. But he may ask, will Erekopoku win? But normally people are very smart. People will go to people that they think realistically they can lead. So you will see that some of the voters for Haruna will go to Ato Forson. Some will go to all the rest. But who gets the biggest share is where the alliances must be forged. And this is a data that you need to have. You don't have to wait until they say, you'll be losing the race. You'll be losing. You go and form wrong alliances, and that will blow up in your face. So people are seeing this data and see how their people are behaving. The question is, would NDC delegate behave in the same way? Are NDC delegate behave the same as the public? That's a $1 million question. What we will do going forward, sometime next year, before NDC goes to elect their polling station executives, we will run a public poll of NDC delegates and who they prefer among all the candidates, who they prefer, for the public to know. And then when they've gone to elect their executives in July, after that, we'll repeat those polls, because those are the people who are going to elect the eventual flag bearer. So we can compare the pre-election, who was leading and where were these people in terms of ranking. And after post-election, has the numbers changed or they stayed the same? This would inform us as to what changes we may expect down the line. And that is a data that we need to have. Our predictions and behavior of voters is not based on whims. It's based on observed phenomena, observation of certain pattern, and see whether that pattern is consistent and whether that pattern becomes a trend, and that trend becomes a reality. And that's how pollsters do their work. Polling is not a small business. It requires rigor, it requires patience, it requires tenacity. And the pollsters must be honest. I can tell you for a fact, we have been approached by many to compromise for them. We have refused. Some come in the media and insult us. We will not mention names, but it's unprofessional to do that. But we know people who have approached us to corrupt us. We know them. We will not mention anybody's name, but they know themselves. If they had succeeded in corrupting us, trust me, we would have been in the news big time. You can say we are NDC. We don't mind. I don't mind. You can say I am Bawumia. I don't mind. And some are even going to say that because I am a Muslim, I am promoting Muslim candidate Bawumia and Haruna Idrisu. Look, I don't temper with figures. If people say they want Haruna Idrisu, so be it. Our leader cannot change anything. If people say they want Bawumia, so be it. If people say they want Haruna, so be it. We don't falsify data. We are not. No, we don't. We have integrity at stake. We have made a promise to this country and promise to the nation and a promise to the whole world that will be our go-to, their go-to for accurate and sincere data and nowhere else. Do I live on polling? No. The polling is my part-time hobby. I work as a full-time consultant, private consultant. So polling doesn't feed me. For those of you who, many of you, if you go in this job, 2 days you'll be compromised, or you are hungry. 2 days, you won't last. We are the only ones who can look into people's eyes and tell them what they don't want to hear. We have made friends in NPP now, apparently. We have made enemies in NDC now, apparently. And that is a hallmark of people who do work objectively. No person is a permanent friend until you do things that they don't like. You get to know them. For us, we are focused on that, on doing the right thing. We're not going to compromise. Doesn't matter what. If our work is suboptimal or poor quality, the election outcome would expose us. For sure. Those who did poor job, we saw where their polls ended in the last election. We have done this for 6 years. We're going to continue doing it until thy kingdom come. Global Info is a limited liability company. It has perpetual succession. It doesn't depend on me. And I am training young people to become the next posters beyond my time. They are there being trained. Eventually, you see them on our television. You will not just see them, you will see others. People like Eugene Ahin from UCC. People like Eugene Boakye, who is in the office. People like Fadima Ahmed, also being to support. We have Sal Insia, who are supporting us in dealing with other media houses. We are working to build posters. Beyond Musa Dankwa, there will be others. On this note, if we are your nightmare, please, your nightmare is not going to end soon, because we're going to be here forever. And those who are happy with the polls, if you don't behave and people respond negatively, you will get to hear it. We're not going to hear to massage anybody's ego. We will tell you exactly what people want to tell you. The sad thing is that politicians don't want to know what people think. They think the people are not smart enough. They are not there in the head. They can mislead them. The time has changed. Social media has changed so many things. You can't lie, get away with it. I cannot lie, get away with it. I will be exposed. So you would be. So let's do this game fairly, accurately, and objectively. Objectively. Neutral. There's nothing like neutral. There is nothing like neutral. Forget about those people who are neutral. Neutral on what? Have you ever voted in this country before? Voted for NPP or NDC before? You can say that I am a floating voter. That's different. But if you are commenting on issues, look, you have either voted for NPP or NDC before. But it's what you are doing reflecting the proof, the reality, and objective. That is what is most important. If I am NDC, card-bearing member of NDC, and I do polls that show MPPs winning, and you win, would you say that my polls are bogus, bought by NDC? If you are an MPP poster, and you do a poll, and that says MPP is losing, and MPP goes to lose, does that affect the work you have done? You are MPP. There are people globally, even in the United States, they have what we call democratic leaning posters. GOP or Republican leaning posters. It means that they are associated with Democrats or Republicans. But methodology doesn't depend on the party you support. That is a science. Methodology does not depend on a political party. And in polling, what matters is the methodology, not the person's party. Those who can Google it, do so right now. There is somebody, gentleman in the UK called Lord Ashcroft. Just type Lord Ashcroft. 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 Lord Ashcroft. Just type Lord Ashcroft. 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 Lord Ashcroft. He is a Lord in the House of Lords in the UK. He's a leading Conservative House of Lords member. He is a philanthropist. He is a financier of the Conservative Party. He propounds and professes conservative ideas and ideologies. He's also a pollster. When he publishes polls, they don't call him conservative pollster. It's a pollster because the polling is based on scientific methodology, not his party affiliation. We must grow to understand this, for God's sake. What kind of people are we? So if you are NDC, your brain must be wired to be NDC and say anything NDC. You don't care about methodology. If you are NPP, it means your brain must be wired to do things NPP way. What country do you want to build? What country do you want to build? If you do poll and you go this way, it means you have been paid. If you go this way, you have been. How can Bawumia pay me to do polls when I was the same person who said we were going to lose last time? Sponsor me to do polls to show that he is winning. I think some of us don't have integrity. No, not like many of you. I know Ghana is corrupt. I understand and I know that I'm aware. I've been here for long enough to understand what happens. But not all of us are corrupt like many of you there. Some of us have integrity. We would rather go hungry, sleep hungry, than take money from anyone. You know where we came from before we got to this point. So please, you can insult us, fine. But at the end of the day, come December 31st, I'll still be standing. I can assure you. I can bet my last penny will not get these things wrong. We have not made any predictions yet. No, all you are seeing is headline polls. The last poll will be done in January 24th. And then based on that polling data, I will stick my neck out with the predictions. If it doesn't come through, look, you can crucify me. That is how confident we are. Yes, we don't joke with data. We don't joke with that. Look, sometimes you can see data that makes you really, really depressed. I understand. But the data is the data. If it is collected scientifically, objectively, the right instrument, the right tools, believe in it. Believe in it. We've done so in many elections. If you look at our parliamentary election predictions based on what we call the MRP model, we got less than 10 seats wrong. Out of 276, we got almost 260 something correct predictions. It's not a little forecasting. It's not by chance. It's data. We got the presidential election correct to the precision for Mahamadu Bawumia's point. 41% were bang on that one. Mahama's one were off by 2% because there were last minute flipped switches from Annan and Bediatuo to Mahama. So those became a bit of, but even that, we were still within the margin of error. You think this little forecast? We went to Kumawu and we saw what we said was going to happen in Kumawu. It came to pass. Akwetia came to pass within 1%. We're not joking here. And those of you who think that we're gonna just be a 9-day wonder, then fasten your seatbelt. Sit well. It's a long haul. It's a long haul. We have changed how the media engage politics and elections in this country. And the media are quite happy with what we are doing. Now it's no longer about they see. No, it's about like data. If you have any other data, bring it out there. Data. What data? We have seen the conversation moving from being what we used to know rolling style, buga, to more data driven. If we say the country is not going well, we have the figure. We can track all the way from 2021 till now. We can see tracking data. We can tell you all sort of data that we have. Luckily, we're going to be here. We will know after Mahama, the new president, how his performance is compared to Mahama first year. So we can begin to make scientific analysis of things, how they do it elsewhere in the world. Things have changed though. If you think we're just going to come and go, you're in fact, fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a long haul. Do things right and get the feedback. The media has completely changed, and we are proud that we've changed something in this country. If for nothing at all, we can tell you how sad Ghanaians were or happy we have been in the last how many years. Yeah, that data is there. It's never been provided by anybody before. CDD does that every 2 years. But we give it to you every 90 days, every 3 months. So you don't have to wait for 2 years to say, oh my God, we are doomed. No, we are giving you every 90 days, every 3 months. If things are going bad, you see. Between July and October, when Mahama's performance dropped from 73 to 67, NPP were using the same data to bash Mahama. Why didn't they? Well, it suits them. They have something they can compare. And some even go back to February. February was 85%, and now, yes, in February we took a poll. That's at the height February, when it was just sworn in. What do you expect? Sworn in. And you don't expect this number to remain high. Nowhere in the world that anybody will stay high in the poll forever. And indeed, those NDC guys, you must prepare that this number will come down eventually. It will come down, but the point is, what proportion of voters are happy or happy with what is going on? What that matters, not about the percentages, and eventually you will come down. So don't cite yourself, say, Emma from. And NPP will have a case to say you are dropping in the popularity. And that is fine, that's a fair point to make. And when you see that, what do you do to fix things? And you can see, there are certain things that are pressure points. Corruption issues, when you do things right, people will respond positively. When people hear nothing at all on corruption, you say you're fighting corruption, and they'll say they're not serious. So every action from the government, the public will react to it. And indeed, the government might be interested in knowing what people think. For them, they have more to lose. They must know what is going on. And as a position, you must know. We just give you heads up. But you need to have your own poster to dig down to find out why. The why, we can't tell you why. We can only speculate or insinuate or deduce. Polling doesn't answer the question why. It is an extensive qualitative study that will sit down with people who say they are NPP. Ask them, why are they NPP? Have they changed their party in the last few years? If yes, where were they before and where are they now? Why did they change? These are questions you don't ask me to answer them. You have your research people who have PhDs. Me, I don't have PhD. I'm only an accountant by profession, a finance person. I'm not a PhD holder in statistics. You have them. So you must follow on them. Pay them money to go and do the work. If you don't want to pay, you won't get anything. No data. You are lucky that you are even getting something from us because we're doing a CSR. Pay people to do work for you. The least people you that get funding in parties are researchers. And what they do is that when there's election or time to register voters, they just mobilize the this electoral area and mobilize people, and that's not research work. It's not research work. You do source them well, fund them, give them work to do, let them find out why. every constituency must have a research team. You should be able to do a research in your constituency to find out the issues. Don't rely on global info. If you don't can, what next? Anyway, just a minute to go. I will say thank you very much. We're here to stay. The insult doesn't bother us, I can assure you. Sometimes we take things lightly and have fun. Me and my friend Kofi Asare, you become the punching bags of many people in this country. Now my mind sometimes the punches on social media get to hit me. But we are here to stay. We're not going to budge. We're not going to go anywhere. We accept the challenge.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.